Morning.
Good morning. We'll get started in 2 minutes. All right. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to you, wherever you are in this beautiful world. Welcome to our pre-New York session. My name is Ryan. I'm your host. We'll be joined shortly by my awesome partner, Mr. Benny Allen. Hope everybody is doing well today. We got a fun week ahead, so we're going to go ahead and dive in and get to it. So as always, let's turn off all distractions, prepare your minds and your bodies to engage as you guys always do. And for the courtesy of everybody on the call, please ensure that your mic is muted if you're not actively asking a question or making a comment. All right. So we're going to take a look at some news real quick, and then we'll get a good overview of where the market stands. Yeah, and we'll go from there. All right. So let's hop over to trading economics. All right, and real quick, just drop me one in the chat if you can hear me okay and if you can see my screen. All right, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. All right, so dollar hits a 3-month low. The dollar weakened sharply against a basket of major currencies on Tuesday, testing the 106 mark for the first time in 3 months, amid prospects that the Federal Reserve could soon slow down the pace of its monetary policy tightening. All right. Fed Vice Chair Leo Bernard was among the latest policy makers to echo this view, saying the U.S. Central Bank has already done much work in taming inflation while cementing the case for a 50 basis point hike in December. Fed Governor Christopher Waller also acknowledged that the central bank might slow the pace of its rate increases in the upcoming meeting, but emphasized that officials are not close to a pause. Right? They're not close, but they may slow down or decrease the rate in which they're increasing. Dollar weakness was seen across the board with some of the most pronounced selling activity against risk-sensitive currencies such as the Australian dollar and the New Zealand dollar. All right. So that's the dollar. That's where we are. We'll take a look at that chart. That's the major news. We got a lot of eyes on the PPI data that's set to come out today, right? Producer Price Index, another inflationary measure. Want to see if purchasing managers, right, are seeing the same info that came out in the CPI, right? So eyes are on this number to see if things are slowing down a little bit from a purchasing perspective as well. All right, so that's where the eyes are set for today. Yesterday, we had monetary policy minutes come out for the Australian dollar, and it did a really good job of sitting on the fence. It said we will either, these are the meeting minutes, right? Either we will pivot or we will advance. And we'll do one of the two. So it was more of a neutral tone for the Aussie, and they did a good job of straddling the fence there. So they are closer to a pivot in Australia, so we could see that coming in the near future. That's something that they're looking at. But we still had some advances in the Australian dollar, primarily due to the dollar weakness and that CPI data that came in below, below expectation. So that's where we are. That's where we are. So that's what we're looking at for today. Later on this week, we got pound CPI coming in tomorrow morning. We got CPI data coming in for the Canadian dollar on Wednesday as well. Core retail sales for the United States. Then you got monetary policy hearing coming out of Great Britain tomorrow morning at 9:15. Unemployment rates and employment change for the Aussie on Thursday, and Philly Fed manufacturing for the United States coming in on Thursday. And then Friday, somewhat slow. We got President Lagarde speaking retail sales for the pound and home sales for the United States. So slower end of the week, but we got some things happening today, tomorrow, and some stuff on Thursday. So we'll see what we're able to get. All right. Is there any questions from a fundamental perspective? Nope. All right. Cool deal. So we're going to we'll start with the dollar, and then we'll work our way through the pairs to see where things sit. All right. So on the dollar, nice deep retracement happening. Okay. This is on the 4-hour time frame, getting that deep pullback. Okay. If we go back to the daily, we had this beautiful 80-20 scenario on the dollar index, right? So we're getting this deep retracement that we wanted to see, right? We're coming back to that 382 level. Coming back to that 382 level. So we'll see how the market responds once we get to this daily support. Okay. So we got the data coming out today. We could see a push down. We'll see if we get a response and potential retracement at least on the dollar index. So we'll watch this to see as we come into the support level. Okay. That support level is a 382 on the daily time frame. On the 4-hour time frame, you were able to see that. Maybe let's get back to it. Here we go. On the 4, you come into a 618 retracement, right? So this level is going to be Q4. 618 retracement on the 4-hour time frame, 382 on the daily time frame, right? And the daily support level. Right. So we'll watch and see if we get some action there today, tomorrow, sometime this week. All right. So that's the dollar index. We'll go through the Aussies and we will see how far we get. All right. So this Aussie CAD, getting this nice deep retracement here on the daily time frame, right? Came into this weekly resistance level and we're getting a reaction now, right? Getting a reaction now there. Nice strong pullback, really, really impulsive. So when we get these impulsive moves, we look for a retracement, right? Look for a pullback. So as you get down to your 4, you'll see what we see. Got a 618 retracement on the 4-hour time frame, right? Came off the B boundary, nice push to the upside. So now we want to look to see, do we get price to turn over here, right? At least come back to this daily support level, right? Previous resistance, future support, could see that. Something like this, okay? And then we'll see if we get a break of that level and continue making our way to the downside, all right? Because overall, again, back to the daily time frame, our bias on this is still short, right? Bias on this is still short. We got a 618 retracement already. It's a nice deep pullback for sure, right? But at the end of the day, still looking for high prices to get short, in my opinion, until we get some evidence to say otherwise. Okay. Matching D extension is here at 84297. Okay. So that's on the 4-hour time frame. You got a 618 retracement. All right. So we drop down to the 1. And we set our eyes light up when we see this, regardless of the time frame. Right. Shallow retracement, 118 to 127 zone. We pushed into this weekly level, right? We broke it. Now we're trying to push back down, see if we're able to close back below this weekly level. if we close back below this weekly level in a strong bearish fashion, right, I'm looking to get short here to play this 80-20 back to the downside. Okay, so watch this one closely. Run your trend lines if that is your additional confirmation that you use. Right, like so. And that one is extremely sharp like that. All right. Adjust this. And bang. All right. So we'll watch this like this here. All right. So if you get a break of that trend line, that could be your additional confirmation. All right. You play that to the downside, right? If you use the cloud, you can wait on that cloud break, right? As your additional confirmation. So you got a couple of different areas there that you can utilize, all right? It's on a 1 hour time frame. Okay. And then we drop down to the 5, and you got a fresh AB boundary that's already on the move to the downside. All right, so this has already made its move. Double top here, bang, push down, right? So at a 236 retracement, retesting that weekly level now. So that one's already broke the trend line and started its move to the downside. Okay, so we got 80-20 on the 1 hour, right? We'll watch it, see if we get the confirmations we need to play this back to the downside. Questions on the Aussie CAD? Nope. Okay, cool deal. Benny, good morning, bro.
Ryan, my man, good morning. Good morning, everybody. How are you, Ryan?
Doing well, man. How about yourself?
Doing good, doing a lot better. Fired up.
Yeah,
ready
man.
to go for the week.
Yes, sir. It's definitely go time.
Absolutely.
Good deal, man. Anything that you fundamentally that you might have put into the newsletter, anything going to keep our eyes on coming into the week?
Not well, in some of the pairs, I think it was in the newsletter, but just looking at the watching out for the CPI data coming out for some of the countries and the currency, right? So that's the main thing, being that we got the CPI report that we did from the US. See what happens with the pound and see what happens with the CAD data that comes out. I believe it's Wednesday.
Yep.
Yeah. So I'm pretty sure you covered that. But that's the main thing. That's the key. That's the key reports for this week. Of course, the manufacturing data that come out from the United States, because we've got some layoffs, right, with some major companies. People starting to announce some major layoffs, and we know that's at let me look at that's at 8:30 today, right? So the Empire State Manufacturing Index, we know that they typically respond real fast to changing conditions, so that it kind of maybe give us some insight as to how these companies are feeling. So being able to see some of them starting to tighten their belts, some major companies too. So that's the main thing that I'm paying attention to.
No, for sure. Okay, cool deal. Ms. Carolyn, the reason for the dollar drop is the CPI data that came out on Friday, right? And investors are taking that as a sign that they can be more aggressive, right? The dollar, they're anticipating the Fed changing their tone slightly, or at least slowing down the pace of their rate hikes, which we talked about at the beginning. And if they slow down the pace of their rate hikes, then investors feel like they can be a little bit more aggressive, right? So yeah, that's the reason for the reversal in the dollar, the retracement in the dollar. All right. Cool deal. Appreciate you, Benny. Let's see. One second. Good morning, everybody that just joined us. All right, so that's the Aussie CAD. And then didn't have anything on the Aussie Swiss. Take a look at this Aussie New Zealand. So daily time frame, right? Overall, big picture, right? Been playing this 80-20 to the downside. Shallow retracement, 118, 127 zone, and we've been breaking down. Okay, so now we came into this weekly support level, daily support level, and we're in this retracement phase. Okay, in this retracement phase, we already retested that B boundary, right? That long wick there. And we'll see now, do we get a deeper push, or does price turn over and continue making its way to the downside? Okay, I'd love to see a higher push here and give us a crown pattern. We'll see if we get that or not, right? I'd love to see something like that happen. We shall see. We shall see if we get a higher push there or not. Okay. We'll work our way down and see what's happening on the lower time frame. But right down, I ran sub fibs from the top down just to monitor this as it's moving. We got a 382 retracement on the retest of this daily level that we broke back through. Right. And then we continue pushing. The matching D extension is down here at 108, right, which is in line with that 382 off the daily capital fib. So we're on the move to the downside as expected. On the 4, okay, on the 4, beautiful move to the downside. Okay, beautiful move to the downside. This is our active AB boundary. We got a 50% retracement, and then price pulled back. Would love to see price come into the 618-786 retracement zone. Okay, so we'll watch to see if we get another push to the upside for the Aussie, right, to come into the zone and then give us that opportunity to get short. Okay, continue that move to the downside. But that is in alignment with, right, what I said I'd like to see here, right, on the daily, right, the deeper retracement. Okay, so that's what I'd like to see in order to have an opportunity to get short. Okay, so that's on the 4-hour time frame. We drop down to the 1. Similar look as the 4, right? We got a 382 retracement, and then price started to push back down. We'll see if we get that thing to push back up. Okay, so similar look there. So we're just being patient here, waiting for this higher price. You played this off of the reversal, right? Price was in that 118, 127 zone on Sunday, right? Beautiful move to the upside so far. All right, talked about it on Saturday. All right, and then down on the 5, you got price kind of bouncing around a little bit. Okay, but you got a 8-6 retracement off the 5. The matching extension is there, so we'll wait to see if we get that high price that we're looking for. Everything is pointing still we might have a little bit of bullish momentum there, so we'll be patient and wait to see if we get price to push up back into that zone. Okay. All right. Any questions on the Aussie New Zealand? We're just sitting and waiting for a high price. Let's see, Miss Cassandra.
On the 1 hour, just a question regarding the fib there. Let me see if I'm looking at that. Yeah. Could we Aussie New Zealand 1 hour? Yeah. For some reason, maybe it's because of the way the fibs look. But if you had ran your fib from the bottom on that, let's see what we have there.
Here you had basically an 80-20 scenario off that sub fib, shallow retracement 118 and 127, price push down to your 50% level there. You got your sideways push.
Okay, but the major fib on the 1 hour is going down.
Yeah, I got it running to the downside. Yep.
Got it. Okay. Okay, because I had that. I was just showing the sub fib on my. Got it.
Because if you come all the way back, these get choppy and they get taken out. Yeah.
Okay, I got it now. Yeah, it came in. Sometimes when I open up my chart, unless I stroll in, squeeze them out, then my fib will pop in and it just pops in. So I'm with you. Thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah, that definitely happens. You have to scroll back a little bit to get them to pop in. Yep, that'll happen periodically. Cool
Got
deal. All right, let's see. So that's the Aussie New Zealand. Take a look at the Aussie dollar. Coming into some key zones, right? Beautiful, beautiful. Shallow retracement, 118 to 127, 80-20 scenario, right? Beautiful play to the upside, okay? Now we're starting to come into some key zones. Got some key data coming in today. It's 564 pip to the upside. Got some key data coming in today, right? That we're going to want to watch to see, right? Do we get another push up to break this daily level and come into this higher zone, really get to that 618 level, which we'd like? Or do we stay at this daily level in line with the 50% retracement? Okay, so that's what we'll watch to see if it's time to get this move to the downside now. Sorry for the bouncing back and forth. Get this move to the downside now, or do we get another push to the upside, right, to get to that 618 retracement level and this next daily resistance, and then, whoops. And then do we get that move down? Okay, so that's what we'll watch to see. I'd love to see one more push to the upside here. We said the dollar has a little bit more movement to the downside. This Aussie dollar could have some more movement to the upside. All right, so we'll continue to watch to see there. Down to the 4. On the 4 hour, all right, let me just make sure. Yeah, those got taken out. Okay, so on your 4, we hit a D extension, all right? Came in line with that daily level. So we got some confluence at that 50% retracement level off the daily, okay? So we'll watch to see what happens here. Do we get a swing high to form? And then do we push higher, right? Got a couple of different things to look out for. But this daily level is going to be key. If we stay below it, right? Look for that move to the downside off the 50% on that daily. Or do we get one more push to the upside, get to this next daily level and that 618 retracement level? So those are the two options that we want to watch for. If price does this, right? Or if price does this, right? If then statements. If price pushes to that daily level, 618 retracement, we'll look for opportunities to get short, right? If price strong bearish close below this level, right, and breaks a trend line, then we'll look for opportunities to get short, right? That's from a 4-hour time frame perspective. And get down to the 1, similar look to the 4. You got that D extension hit, okay? Got that D extension hit. There's our down trend line. So we also got a break of the trend line as well. Break, retest of the trend line, and we got to push, okay? So we'll continue to monitor this, right? Nice move on the 1 hour, but we'll see what happens as that PPI data comes out and that manufacturing data. Manufacturing data here at 8:30, right? 8:30 for manufacturing and PPI. So we'll see what reaction we get in the market here, okay? And then based on the reaction, then we'll know what to do from there, okay? So that's where we sit on the 1. We got a D extension hit. Do we get a swing high and another push is the question, okay? So that's on the 1. Drop down to the 5. And we got a shallow retracement, pushed into the 118 to 127 zone. Again, playing at that daily level. D extension on the 5 is here. Okay, so these dollar pairs we want to play with a little caution because we know they're volatile with the slight change in sentiment, right? So we want to play these with caution, make sure that we have all of our confirmations in place, be it trend line, cloud break, what have you. So just watch these closely, okay? See if after that data comes out to see what happens, okay? So that's where we are on the Aussie dollar. Any questions?
No, sir.
Sweet. There's your trend lines there on the 5, okay? Cool deal. Then let's take a look at this CAD Swiss. We had a we had a move on the 5 minute, right? Coming into Sunday. I look at this and then I'll go back to the daily time frame and work through. But we had this move play out. Shallow retracement, 118, 127 zone here, right? This is your Sunday candle. Then we got this beautiful retracement back up into your 50, 6-1-8 retracement zones. And now we're making our way back to the downside, right? So on the 5 minute time frame, right, it played out as expected, right? So that was a beautiful move there, right? 63 pips to the upside, okay? So now we're looking at this one moving back to the downside and continuing this motion, okay? From a daily time frame perspective, right, we'll bounce all the way back. Okay, this is what we're working on. 618 retracement, matching extension down here at 68,243. Okay, so it's on its way. Strong bearish move. We'll see if we get a deeper retracement, right? Take back some of the strong bearish candle here, maybe retest this daily level. Okay, so we'll watch out for that. But we're trying to break below this strong cluster of weekly and monthly support levels. All right. So we'll continue to watch this. This is a strong reaction there. We'll see if we stay below this and continue going, or if we do get that retracement to happen. Okay. But all in all, still bearish, right? Could be in for a retracement though. Okay. Drop down to the 4. Right. Similar ideas. 618 retracement, daily resistance, breakdown. Okay, breakdown, moving to the downside. So again, we want to see, do we get a retracement and then a continuation? As we get down to your 1, there we are in your 1, right? It's all 3 levels saying the same thing, right? 618 retracement, matching the extension. Okay, so we're on the move to the downside. So it's just, do we get a retracement at some point off of the strong bearish movement, or do we continue just to break down and get to this next daily support level? Okay, so if you're in this to the downside, continue managing your trade, right? Yeah, good trade management at this point, right? Now back to that 5, that was the retracement opportunity, and then we're in that continuation phase. So we'll see what happens with this cluster. All right, so that was a beautiful move there. Any questions on the CAD Swiss? Cool deal. This Swiss yen, it's still bouncing back and forth. Actually, let's go back to the weekly time frame, right? Shallow retracement, 118, 127 zone, and we're just hovering, right? Tons of wicks, can't make a decision, right? So some equilibrium in price here, right? So just moving sideways right now, but 80-20 scenario off the weekly time frame. Okay, so we want to continue to watch this to see if at some point, don't know when that some point will be, but if we start getting this breakdown, right? And if we're able to break below this monthly level, start getting that action like that, right? So you want to keep your eyes close on this one. Keep your eyes close. Go to the daily time frame, right? We got a 50% retracement, but it's all just been sideways, right? It's all just been sideways, no direction really given, okay? So if you had your trend line here on the daily, that trend line would look like this. Like so, right? And for new folks, right, your trend line, you want the goal of the trend line, right, is to get as close to the highest point as possible without cutting off any wicks or bodies, right? So you start at your lowest or highest point, right, to identify your direction. Okay, the trend line tells you the direction and the momentum of the market, right? The goal is to get as close to the highest point as possible without cutting off any wicks or bodies, right? A break of the trend line tells you right, that direction and momentum have started to change. Okay. When you talk about confirmation, trade entries, things like that, break of the trend line gives you an indication that there's a change in direction, and you should potentially look for a trading opportunity. Okay. Now, there's one caveat to the trend line, right? You hear a lot of people say trend lines are subjective, and they're not. You just have to know how to draw them, right? So you don't want to cut off any wicks or bodies, okay? Like so. Extend it out like a tabletop and move it to the next touch, right? And your next trend line starts where that last trend line was touched, and you do the same thing all the way through the highest point, okay? So as you get to the highest point, right? Quick lesson here, right? So this one would have come like this, right? Extend it all the way out, move it up until you get to the next touch. That next touch in that direction would have been here, okay? Now, this is the one caveat to trend lines. If you have a zone of consolidation or sideways price movement that breaks your trend line, i.e. right here, right? That's the only time you adjust the trend line to the outermost point, right? Because you want a strong bearish or bullish break of your trend line to signal that direction change. We don't have a directional change, right? We just have consolidation here in the market, a sideways movement. Okay, so that's the one caveat to drawing the trend lines. Okay, aside from that, the goal of the trend line to get is as close to the highest point as possible without cutting off any wicks or bodies. Okay. And then if you get a strong bearish or bullish break of that trend line, that is your signal that the direction and the momentum has changed. So as you're going through the training, new folks, right, new members, you want to keep your eyes on that and keep your ears on that to understand and start practicing drawing these trend lines. Okay. So in the homework, that's the lesson that you'll have, is drawing the trend lines. Okay. So keep that in mind. But that's what we're looking at there on the switch in on the daily time frame. Okay. So as you drop down now to the 4, right? Same look, just a sideways push. Just a sideways push. So we're waiting on a directional change. Trying to turn over here, we'll see, but it's just in that range. Okay. On the 1 hour time frame, I ran a fib on it, but it's still choppy. Okay, still choppy. You got your salary retracement. We're hovering in the 118 to 127 zone. It's trying to push down, right? But we could be still playing in this range, so we could get a push to the bottom of the range. And then if it's not ready to break yet, we'll see a push back to the top. Okay, so here on the 1, I just ran the fib off of that lowest point. You got your 80-20 scenario here. Okay. So when drawing those trend lines, new folks, right? That's your trend line going as close, getting as close to the highest point as possible. Strong bearish candle break, right? And then you got a pullback. Okay. So that's what that would look like. Strong bearish candle break of the trend line, pullback. Trend line getting as close to the highest point as possible without cutting off any wicks or bodies. Okay, so now we're pushing sideways. We'll see if we get this continued lower high, lower low to get us to a deeper retracement level on the 1 hour. But that one's trying to make its move to the downside there. Okay, so that one you can take a look at if it meets your rules for an entry opportunity there. We drop down to the 5. Right, we had a fresh AB boundary off of the fib running off the short-term low, right, and it's moving to the downside there. Okay, so that is the Swiss yen 80-20 scenario on the 1 hour time frame, looking for that move back down, and then we'll see what happens from there. Questions here? No?
Nope.
Sweet. Let's see. Just want to look at the 0 CAD still pushing to the upside. So we've been watching this one for quite some time. And 80-20 on the weekly time frame, shallow retracement, 118, 127 zone. It's making its way to this weekly 382 at 147.45. Okay. So it's already up 849 pips with another 300 or 400 to go, or 200 or 300 to go. Okay. Drop down to the daily time frame, right? Push through this previous weekly resistance level, right? We'll see if on the daily we close above it, right? But been a beautiful move to the upside so far into that 618 retracement zone. We definitely have some opportunity to push higher to that 786.86 level, which is in line with that weekly 382. Okay. So that's the daily. Come down to the 4, right? And we're still pushing, right? This weekly 382 is outside that A boundary, so it's likely that this A could get taken out at some point, okay? So we want to keep that in mind as price is pushing, okay? Could take out that A, then we'll have our fibs running to the upside. So if you run that sub fib to the upside, right, the D extension is here just shy of this daily resistance level. Okay, so that's telling us that we have some more bullish movement to go, right? And that's that weekly level. We drop down to the 1, and we got an 80-20 scenario here, okay, off the 1 hour time frame. These fibs are already moving to the upside off the low. So we want to watch this to see if we get a pullback of any sort. We may not, right? So make sure your confirmations are met, right? And but keep your eyes on it to see if we do get a retracement that meets our rules. Okay, we start to get movement that meets our rules. You come here, start at your low, right? Direction is up. Start at your low, extend it all the way out to the second touch, like so. Next one starts at that touch, extend it out to the next touch, like so. Okay. And then your inner trend line comes from there. So, right here we got really, really aggressive. Price really started moving to the upside. The momentum picked up. And that's your inner trend line there. Okay. So those are your trend lines. Looking at that movement to the upside, right? So we'll see if we get swing high, breaking that trend line, start making that move back to the downside. But another 1 hour 80-20 scenario that we want to keep our eyes on for potential retracement opportunity in line with the weekly resistance level. Okay. So keep your eyes on that. If it meets your rules, pull the trigger. Okay. We drop down to the 5. And surprise, surprise, we got some confluence on the 5-minute time frame. Shallow retracement, 118, 127 zone. On the 5-minute, it's already starting to try to break down. So we'll see if we get that movement to the downside. Okay. Same thing here. Same thing here. Run your trend lines like so. Okay. Okay. All right. So here on the 5, your inner trend line. Something like that. So, all right. So there we go. There we go. If you wanted to be more aggressive here, I wouldn't, but if you wanted to, you could draw that really tight inner trend line like that, right? And there you have it, right? As close to the highest point as possible without cutting off any wicks or bodies. Okay. So now, right, looking for our confirmation to be met, 80-20 scenario on the 5-minute time frame for the Euro CAD to the downside. Questions? No? Okay, sweet. Give me 1 second. All right. All right, so that's the Euro CAD. Give me 1 second, everybody. 1 second. My bad, everybody. So that's the Euro CAD. Let's keep rocking. Euro Swissy.
Hey, Ryan.
Yes, sir.
Hey, I just want to reiterate what you said on the CAD for your make sure you get good confirmation, because it seems this morning like some of the pairs are making a good run against the CAD because of what's going on with the oil. So just make sure, right, you get that trend line break, and possibly even a pullback, slight pullback off of that, just to be sure that it wants to head down. Because I was just looking at the pound CAD and it's looking like it's running on it. So
okay.
Yeah, and some of the news with demand fears, because of China and everything else. So that's affecting oil prices. So
appreciate that.
Yep.
Definitely wait for that confirmation. Okay. Cool deal. Euro Swissy. So the Euro Swiss, we've been playing this retracement. Take this off for a second. All right. Shallow retracement, 118, 127 zone, push to the upside. All right. We haven't gotten to that daily 382 level yet. Ran into this weekly resistance, and then we got price to push down. Now we're trying to turn over and push back up. So what I'm looking at here is the potential of a crown pattern. All right, take out the previous high, go back. All right, I was looking for it to come back down to this daily level of support, and we'll see. All right, and then you're pushed to the upside. So that's what I'm looking at there. We'll see it a little bit better on the 4-hour time frame, but potential reversal pattern here to give us that push to the upside on the daily. Okay, we drop to the 4. Look at it just a little bit more closely. Fibs got taken out there. So this is that crown pattern here. I'll redraw it for us. Maybe. Okay. Take that out for a second. We'll come back to that. Crown pattern here. All right. Left tip. Push up. Push right back down. Take out previous low. Break a trend line. Right. Took out the previous high. Came back. Support level. Then we'll see if price pushes to the upside there. Okay, so that's the crown pattern I'm looking at, looking to see if we get that to play out to the upside there on the Euro Swiss. Okay, now when we look at it from a fib perspective, right, we'll look at it 2 ways. We'll run the fibs from the low, and then we'll look at it from a harmonic perspective with the fib. So just running the fibs to the upside, shallow retracement, price pushed into the 118, 127 zone. We got this consolidation, price broke down, 618 retracement, bang, right? 618 retracement. Now we're trying to turn over, push to the upside with the matching D extension here at 99831. Okay, that's one scenario to look at. Okay, one scenario to look at. Okay. So 618 retracement, trying to turn over, push to the upside. So that's running the fibs off the low. Okay, one scenario, but price pushing to our sweet spot. Next scenario is looking at the harmonic fib, right, off of that crown pattern, which you take the last impulsive move to the upside, that last leg before that right tip is created from the low to the high there. Okay, now we got 382 retracement, right? 382, price is turning over, matching the extension is here. So off of the crown pattern that we just drew out, currently this would be the matching D extension if price doesn't push deeper. Okay, matching D extension 102, 932. Okay, so two different scenarios to look at this for that potential price turning over, pressing to the upside. Okay, but from the daily time frame perspective, we still got room to get to the daily 382. On the 4-hour time frame, crown pattern, looking for price to push to the upside. So all pieces to the story telling us opportunity for price to continue pushing to the upside. Okay. So that's where we sit on the Euro Swiss on the 4. Okay. Like so. All right. So now continue moving down to the 1 hour, right? And fibs coming down off of the high. And this is what we had. Shallow retracement. 118, 127 zone. This was Sunday. And we're getting this reversal. Boom. Right? Pushing to the upside. Shallow retracement, 118, 127 zone, reversal. So we're on our way to the upside. So that's confirmation of price reversing. We'll see if that full right tip on the 4-hour fills out. And if this A gets taken out, we'll be already in the move to the upside to complete that King's Crown pattern and get to that daily 382. All right. Now, Reese, so in order for this B boundary, Reese's question is, this is not a 382 retracement. In order for this B boundary to be formed, you need 2 candles to the right, right? These 2 candles to the right, this is that second candle that closed. It didn't get to that 382 retracement level, right? This wick here, that doesn't count as that retracement, right? Because you don't officially have a B boundary formed yet, right? Some of these get tricky when you have these kind of indecisive moves or impulsive moves, right as the D extension gets hit, they can be tricky. You'll even see the algorithm get tricked sometimes, but then once it resets, you'll see that this is going to be your low, and then that'll form that way, right? So nope, not a 382. That B boundary didn't form until this candle was completed, so it'd be everything after that candle. Okay, good question though. That makes sense to everybody else?
Yes.
Okay. All right, sweet. So we're on the move to the upside. You drop down to the 5, similar story. Right here on the 5, right? You did get a decent push to the upside here, right? After that B boundary was formed, but higher time frames controlling lower time frames, we're in this retracement phase. Right. So we'll get a deeper push here if price continues to move to the upside. Okay. Questions on the Euro Swiss? No? Sweet. All right. And Euro JPY. Daily time frame, right? Trying to turn over, trying to push down, had a strong bearish candle last week, getting a retracement right now. We'll see if price turns back over and continues pressing to the downside, but get in a retracement phase right now on your lower time frames, right? These 3 candles here pulling back. Okay, so we'll see. We'll monitor this as it goes. On the 4-hour time frame, right? Price is continuing making these lower highs and lower lows. Okay, so we'll see if we retest this previous weekly resistance that we broke back through, right? And see if we turn over and continue pressing to the downside, right? But it's been quite choppy, been somewhat of a I say difficult one because of the choppiness and the sideways push here to trade. However, as you get down to your lower time frames, right, things start to get a little cleaner. We start to get some clean action. AB boundary, retracement, right? Retracement. So we're coming into 618 retracement level in line with that previous weekly resistance. Okay. So what we'd want to see here, right, if you trade 618s, is another push to the upside to get into that sweet spot. Right. And then look for the opportunities to get short. Okay. But beautiful retracement here. Now we're looking for price to turn over and press down. Okay. Down to the 5, right? We had our shallow retracement, 118, 127. Price pushed down, got to that 382. Right? Now we're pushing back to the upside. Now we're pushing back to the upside, matching the extension, coincidentally, in line with that weekly resistance level. Okay. So again, looking for another push to the upside to get to that weekly level. Right. We'll see if we get this, and then we'll see what happens when we get around that zone. Okay. See if we get around that zone. All right. Questions here on the euro yen? Yeah. All right, cool deal. Check out this euro dollar. Check it, right? We got that 382, but price pushed down. We couldn't break out to the downside. Now we're working our way back up. All right, working our way back up. Coming into that 50% retracement level. 618 is in line with that weekly resistance. Okay. So we could see, again, dollar index, right? Opportunity to push down more. So this euro dollar potentially has the potential to push up to get to that resistance. Okay. Inverse of the dollar index. So potential for continued push to the upside, maybe a little bit of a retracement as we broke through this weekly level, right? Retest that and then continue pushing to the upside in the short term. Okay. As we continue moving down on your 4, right? On your 4, shallow retracement, trying to push into this 118, 127 zone. Okay. We'll see. We'll see what happens here, right? These dollar pairs, again, play them with a little bit of caution. We got news coming up. We want to watch to see how the market responds to that, right? But we could just be in for a retracement to retest this level that we just had this bullish candle breakthrough. So we could be in for a retest and then a continuation to the upside. So make sure your confirmations are met. Make sure your confirmations are met before entering a trade to the downside, right? So be patient here, okay? Be patient here. As we drop to the 1, all right, similar deal. We didn't get that retracement earlier as we were looking for, which is cool. New AB boundary, right? Shallow retracement. 118, 127 is up here on the 1 hour. Okay. So we'll watch to see how price responds at this weekly level. This level is going to be key. That level is going to be key. So do we retest that and bounce? Right. To get that push like the DXY. So that's what we're looking for. Okay. That's what we're looking for. We'll wait and see. We'll wait and see. 80-20 on the 4. That one may not play out, right? You got a fresh AB boundary, potential to push and get to that D extension on the 1 hour in line with that weekly resistance level, which is also in line with 618 retracement on the daily time frame, right? So we got a lot of confluence pointing to this weekly resistance level. It's just about when do we get there, right? Do we get a pullback first, or does this momentum continue pushing to the upside and pushing against the dollar, right? So that's what we're looking to see. Okay, that's what we're looking to see. We drop down to the 5. You got a fresh AB boundary. Price didn't quite get into that 118, 127 zone, right? Matching D extension is there. Okay, so this is what we're watching to see. Watching to see. Make sure your confirmations are met. Okay. Questions on the euro dollar? Sandra, hit your stop loss. Okay. On 1027. Were you able to take some of that profit? You were able to take some of that profit off the table? Okay. Cool deal. Cool deal. That's the euro dollar. Lot size. Right. Okay. It's all good, right? Beautiful move, right? Beautiful move. So now see how the cycle goes, right? You had a beautiful entry on it. From October, you were all the way back. You were on the move. You were playing this to the upside, right? So
I was trying to unmute my mic. No, I had taken a 4-hour pullback to the 61.8. And this was,
this year.
This was all the way back October 27. Yes.
Gotcha. Played this move here. Okay.
Sorry, can you go back to the daily again?
Yeah, 1 second. I'll go back to the daily. 1 second. So you're playing this 80-20 scenario here.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And you had your stop there. Okay. One of the things just to think about is in these scenarios, how you manage your trade. As it's moving in your favor, especially with those lot sizes, right? You got up to 300 pips in the profit, right? So maybe in the scenario, look at how you're managing your stop loss, right? And as it's moving in your favor, moving your stop loss in the profit, right? So now as it reverses, maybe after it gets 200 pips in profit, you move that stop loss in a profit 50 pips, right? So that's something you're seeing the pattern now, right? So now it's about how do you manage that trade in the process, right? How do you manage the trade in the process? So something to think about as you continue to evolve. Okay.
Right. I was looking to when it hit my 1-to-1 at 9,557, but it never made it that far down.
Gotcha. Yeah, I follow you. Well, hey, it's a great experience, good patience, allowing the trade to run, right? And you calculated your risk, right? So that's the goal. So that's a win, right? That's a win. It met your rules, you took the trade and you allowed it to play out, right? So now just small tweaks on how we manage that trade as it's moving.
Right. Got it.
So beautiful. Great work.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. All right. So that's what we're looking at. So go back to the daily time frame. That's where we're on the daily time frame. Potentially looking for price to get up to the 618 retracement level in line with that weekly resistance. Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Any questions here on this Euro USD? Nope. Any questions on anything that we covered this morning? Sorry, I didn't get through more. Got to get the kid to school. Any questions on anything that we covered this morning? Nope. Benny, anything before we close out, bro?
No, sir. Lot of major reporting with the CPI data coming out this week. So any trade that you take, you should always take, additional confirmation, but just make sure that you do, because it creates a lot of volatility when we're looking at all these CPI reports, especially with what happened in the United States last week. and what happened to the dollar. But other than that, man, great session. Look forward to seeing everybody tonight, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for the agent session.
All right. You guys have an awesome day. We'll see you tonight. Peace.